Hello, and welcome to another episode of Healthy and Whole.
Mind, body, and soul.
It is a brand new year. Well,
Yes.
I will say it's brand new. We're about a week or so in, right?
Yeah, about 9, 10,
9
20,
days?
30, 40 days.
No, not that far. Maybe, but so we're a few days into 2022 now.
Yeah.
But thank you, first of all, for everyone that watched and commented and went along for this journey on last year. This journey where we are trying to make ourselves healthier, more whole in every aspect of our life, in our mind, body, and soul. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time, my name is, should I say Dr. Leonard Presley, but I go by Leo.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do your
Well,
title.
I'm Dr. Leonard Presley, and this is my beautiful wife,
Shawnee Presley.
We are working with the gracious, the magnanimous group there at Brooklyn AFC on 265 Lafayette Avenue.
Yes.
We want to thank them. This was a part of, they reached out and thought we would be a good fit for this, and we have enjoyed not just doing the show, but working with them. But we've also enjoyed the growth that we've seen in ourselves, from putting the show out there to sharing information, So
Yes.
we really enjoyed it, and we hope that this year will bring bigger and better things, not just for us, but for you
also
as well.
For you.
So now let's jump right in. Now, usually we do a topic of the month based on what health topic is kind of the theme for that month.
Yes, that's trending.
That's trending for that month. That's a good word. So, but that's not really a big one to jump off on, but we know everybody has that thing on New Year's Eve or New Year's that they want to put out there and, hey, I want to do this in 2022. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to talk about this year. How to just set ourselves up for success in whatever goals we come up with.
That's right.
So what's our title for today?
Our title is Better You in 2022.
A better you in 2022.
Yes.
Why didn't we say New Year, New Me? That's what everybody says. You see that all in the hashtags. You see that everywhere. Oh, you go to a gathering on New Year's night. Next year it's going to be New Year, New Me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So does that mean that it almost feels like you're erasing who you were those past, if it was 20 years, 30 years,
Very
40
true.
years, 50 years, and creating a new persona?
And, as we were discussing and preparing and praying for this show, we were kind of talking about, do we really want to be a brand new person? Now, before we go any further, I'm going to say this. If you're becoming a new creature in Christ,
yes,
do
most
that.
Definitely.
Do that.
Most definitely.
Because he makes us a new creature. In all things, all those old things have passed away. We are a new creature spiritually when it comes down to being in Christ. So if that's your goal for this year, 100%. We got you. We praying for you. We here with you. Let's go be new.
Yes.
But in all that other,
the heavens will be cheering.
Oh man, the angels be. There's a song to go buck with the angels.
Yes.
If you give your life to Christ for New Year's and He's making you a new creature, there's a party going on in heaven. Hey, and if we ever meet, we'll party with you.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And you can also give your life right now, wherever you think about it.
This is true. We didn't know this was going this way, but hey, if you haven't done this for the new year, that's the best way to start any transformation, because that transformation leads to every other transformation you can think of, and it makes it stick, because the sticking power doesn't have to come from you.
No,
it comes from God. See, we weren't supposed to be preaching.
I'm sorry.
But hey, we're going to let God do his thing. We're going to let him do his thing.
Let the Holy Spirit work.
Right. But now, outside of that transformation, which is the most important, and if you are, seek out, go to Brooklyn AFC or 265brooklyn.org.
They're a reaching church.
They're the reaching church. They will reach out to you and help you to come in and learn what that transformation is. It's a great group of people, great pastor, great group of folks there that will definitely help you grow. And if you're near any Bible-based church, any Apostolic Faith Church, any Bible-based church where the people are reaching out, if you can't get to the church there in Brooklyn, find a church where they can help you walk with God. It's the best one. That's the best thing you can do for any year, not just this one.
Yes.
But now when we talk about our more fleshly things, our personal endeavors, I had some issues with that New Year, New Me thing, because if you're going to be a new you, new means everything goes.
Yes.
If I get a new house, I'm not going to take a part of the old house and stick it onto the new house. I could remodel a house, but that's not new.
No.
So if I say new year,
it's an upgrade.
But if I say new year, new me, most people think about that as I'm getting rid of the things that I see as negative.
Yes.
The issue is, if it's new, you got rid of everything.
Yes.
You scorched the ground. Yeah, you scorched the ground. Yeah. And there's a saying that says nothing grows from scorched earth. So if you're truly trying to be new, whatever things that were strong about you last year, whatever things were good about you, are you really willing to do away with those things and chase something brand new and have to set up a whole new set of strengths? Does that make sense?
That's deep.
Oh, I'm being deep too. Oh, what?
That's deep.
I made her say that's big. Hey, y'all write that down. So when she tell me I'm not deep, that I can come back and say that later.
That's deep.
But that's why we want to say better you in 2022. Yes. A better version of yourself. Because then you can take the things that are positive, you can take the things that were good, you can take the experiences that help you grow and use those to build and move forward. And move toward what is better and away from what is negative without sacrificing everything that was good about you last year.
So you're telling us that we should go back and reflect on 2020, 2021 of what we've experienced and find all the positive points. And sometimes the negative points help you grow.
This is true.
To the next level of yourself.
This is true.
But go ahead, sorry.
So this is very true. You want to look back, because if you don't look back, you don't know what the strengths were. Because I'll be honest, these past 2 years, 2020 definitely, 2021 was a lot of the same. You might look back and say, it wasn't nothing good 2021. I don't want to break nothing. But I promise you, if you look hard enough, first of all, the fact that you can realize how bad 2021 was in some instances, but you're still here with the willingness to get better, that's a strength.
Yes, that is.
You've persevered through that already. So reflect and see, okay, what things were hard but made me stronger? What things were good? What things were difficult and I wish to avoid?
Yes.
So, but in order to set goals for growth, you have to know where you want to grow. I can't remember where the quote came from. Oh my goodness, I just had this on the tip of my tongue, and I want to credit the person that said it. But he says, if you aim at nothing, you always hit it. Zig Ziglar said that. If you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So a lot of times, I just want to grow. What does that mean?
Yes, that's just vague.
You know?
But sometimes people can't focus on what they want to grow at. Because a lot of times, a lot of us sometimes want to do this. I don't know. I'm a person that likes to touch my hands in many different things.
Right.
And sometimes I don't stay focused on that one thing. So that's one thing that I really want to work on for myself.
And that's the thing. You can have goals, but that reason for reflection is to make sure that your goals are targeted toward the things that you really need to grow in, or the things where the soil is ready to fertilize that growth. You just don't want to make up goals based on this nebulous idea of what you want to be without thinking about what you already are.
That's facts.
It's like trying to get to a destination. You know how when you put directions in a GPS, you can put in your destination, but then ask you for a starting point.
Yes.
If you don't reflect on what your life was or who you were in 2021, you don't have a starting point to chart your course to the destination. So that's what we want to say first. Reflect. You got to reflect. So if you want to be better, first thing you got to do is truthfully, honestly, fully transparent. Keep it a buck with yourself. That's what the young kids say when they say keep it 100. Keep it a buck with yourself and be honest. Don't sugarcoat it. You're talking to you. Don't sugarcoat it. Be real.
Sometimes you're going to hurt yourself.
You're going to be embarrassed about the pack of chocolate chip cookies on your nightstand that's me. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me.
Or that task that you said that you were going to complete and it's still only 20% done. Right.
Or the book that you were going to write or the business you were going to start opening, or whatever it may be. Reflect on what's happening. Reflect on what happened so you can start and chart your course forward.
When I think about that, you see I have notebooks everywhere.
Yes, you do.
I literally have notebooks everywhere.
Listen, Shani would tell me to go get her notebook, and I got to walk all over the house because there's like 16 notebooks around with random notes in them.
Because when something comes to my mind, I want to write it down. And whatever I find, I need to write it down on something. And then I forget where I wrote it down at. But that's one thing. That's a part of my thing. But what I was about to say is you're thinking of these goals. I think a lot of us have a tough time keeping our New Year's resolution. That's what they say. Or better you in 2022 is because we say these things, but we don't have it jotted down somewhere.
Right.
Where we can see it daily or see it weekly. Have it in our tablets, our phones, written down on our journals, written down somewhere where you have an affirmation to go back and say, okay, this week I was supposed to work on this area of my life. And you have something to go back and look at. So I think for many of us, we need to start writing stuff down. And
now, me being a physical therapist that studied neuroscience and kinesiology and how the mind and the body connect, there's a reason writing down makes things more consistent. Because once you take a thought and you reinforce it with a motor activity, writing is a motor activity. So now if I have a thought, I'm just sitting here and there's just a random thought. Random neurons are firing in my head. And I already remember it, but it's just a thought firing in my brain. But once I take the time to get up, go get a piece of paper and a pen, based on that thought, I've reinforced that thought with a motor activity. When I write it down, now I have to put that thought that may not be perfectly articulated in my head. I have to go through the process of not just writing it, but refining the words as I write it. All of that is just reinforcing that thought, that idea into your being. So now it's not just this random thought that flashed through your head. It's just like when you tell a kid, if you tell a kid we're going to do jumping jacks, that's never done it. They don't know what that is. But when they begin to actually do the movement, it cements that movement as a jumping jack. Once you have that thought, that idea, that goal, and you go through the steps to simply write it down, you reinforce that and you cement that up as a memory, as a marker in time, that then it is more easily accessed. But I know I can be driving home on my commute, get in the car and have a thought. I'm going to stop at Walmart and pick up 4 things. But I didn't make a note. I didn't make a list. I get to Walmart
and you miss 1 or 2 things.
And I get 3. And I come home and be like, good grief. You know why? Because there wasn't anything else. And our brains are so necessarily active that if you don't take that moment to write it down and cement it, it could be lost.
And other things will start flying in and things like that.
So the first thing is write it down. Reflect, write it down. Okay. Now, let's talk about these New Year's resolutions. I did some research. I looked at Forbes. I looked at Harvard Business Review. I looked at Inc. magazine, all of these corporate magazines that study the behavior of people and how it impacts business, basically, because business is basically behavioral science and how to make money off of it. So if you want to know what behavioral science is popular, go look into business magazines, because that's how they make their business. They study our behaviors and then put products in front of us that capitalize on our behavior. So that's another thing. We'll get to that later. We'll come back to that. But one thing they said is that at least 80% of every New Year's resolution that is made is given up on by mid-February.
I can see that.
Why do you think that is?
Well, thinking about it now, it's when you have a goal, sometimes you make the goal so, what's that word you like to use? Magnanimous. Yeah, so big. That you write it down and you don't put baby steps in front of it. So when you see that big goal and then you see the little things that you're doing, you don't see those little changes as big steps that you've taken. So when you look at that big goal that you wrote down, you're like, gosh, why is it taking so long to get there? Right. So like if you told yourself, all right, financially, I'm going to save $2,000 every month this year. That's what I'm going to do. And you start out first week of January, you take your lunch to work every day, you do your stuff. But then you look at your bank account at the end of January and you've only saved $500. And you know that goal of having $24,000 in your bank account, oh man, I'm already behind. That right there, that's negative talk. That negative self-talk. It's negative, but that negative self-talk is not because you're negative. It's because of the way the goal is constructed. Everything is relative. You construct a goal based on a set of behaviors, a set of actions that you plan to take. But here's the reason that every one of these articles pointed out that most New Year's resolutions don't last, is because I can set out a goal and have an expectation of what behaviors are going to get me there.
But the thing I cannot control is my external circumstances that will affect my ability to do the behaviors.
That is facts.
If I'm going to say...
Oh, that is facts. I'm so sorry. That is facts.
Stop cutting me. Yeah, see, she's excited because she knows.
Oh, my gosh. I have an example. When my hubby got sick, I was doing my workout stuff so well. It was his fault. It was external circumstances. And it's been literally 2 months since I literally stopped working out. And now I'm having a tough time restarting again. And it wasn't because that I don't want to do it. It's that the circumstances had really changed the chemistry in my mind to want to start it up again. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So right there, if you're watching this, put in the chat #facts. Okay. But this is the thing.
That's fact.
Your circumstances, your external environment is beyond your control. Yeah. Your behaviors have to be in concert to some degree with that environment if you're going to survive there. So let's say I'm going to save $2,000 every month. If that's my financial New Year's resolution. But in January, because we get hit with 3 or 4 snowstorms back to back, my heating bill goes up by $200.
Yeah.
And now, also because of that, I have to do different things as far as transportation that costs me more money. I have to go out and buy more clothes or buy grocery in bulk because the stores may be running short. So now that extra $500 or $600 that could have went into my bank account, the environment dictated that I spend that money. So now at the end of the month, I only see $500 where I intended to see $2,000.
And we have a tough time looking at those circumstances as the cause of it and not saying to yourself, you know what, you tried.
Exactly.
This happened.
Exactly. So now the external circumstances impacted your behavior. The negative self-talk was the first reaction. Oh, I've already messed up. And the worst thing for us is continued negative self-talk.
Yes.
It's self-defeating. It's self-destructive. So, but now it's happened because I set this goal on January 1st. January 31st, I'm already $1,500 behind.
Yeah.
I can't catch up because guess what? Next month it's still winter. I still got to travel. I still got to eat. I still got to, Valentine's Day is coming up. I got to buy stuff. I got to go out to a nice dinner. So I'm not going to make it in February. I'm done. Oh, okay. I'll try again next year.
Sometimes the sacrifice, you have to sacrifice.
But here's the thing. Now, even though I didn't save $2,000 extra, I saved $500.
I did it though.
I did it. Okay, so hold that thought. I didn't get the $2,000. I got the $500. Let's look at another alternative. Let's say I had a health-related New Year's resolution. I'm going to work out. Well, okay, so Christmas, we're going to work out. I mean, no, not Christmas. New Year's Eve, I've already paid my gym membership. They had the special on, you know, $10, no contract. You can go. I got all that.
I think that's why they put $0.
Yeah, because they know people have got no money.
Yeah.
People spent all their money, but they want to work out.
Yeah.
Right? I go and buy my, I get on Amazon, buy some nice little workout clothes so I can look fly going to the gym. Y'all do know the gym is more of a fashion show than anything else now. Right?
I don't know. I haven't been in one in years.
No, me either. But you had all these plans, but then here comes Omarion. I mean Omicron, y'all. I mean Omicron. Here comes the next surge of COVID. Sorry, see that if y'all hadn't heard that, that's the joke. Y'all know the singer Omarion. They use his name interchangeably.
I know y'all saw that TikTok trend where he did that dance with the red coat.
Yeah. So here comes Omarion. So now I was gonna go to the gym and work out, but now in order for me to be safe from COVID, I may have to. I'm rethinking that.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about doing that. So now, again, a circumstance I can't control. I don't go to the gym as much, or I don't stay as long, or I don't work out as hard because I can't do it with the mask on. Yeah. I'm distracted about, hey, is this safe? People are telling me you shouldn't be in the gym, so I don't go. And now at the end of January, where I was hoping to see some changes in my body because I was working out, I didn't.
Or I was hoping to be in the gym 15 days out of the month. I only went 5. And
I look at my calendar, and instead of 15 check marks, there's only 5. Yeah. I'm behind. Again, the circumstance is not under my control, but the negative self-talk comes because I missed my goal already.
Right.
So we've done finances, we've done health, How about relationships? Me and Bae gonna have a date night every week.
You see me just suck my teeth.
You see me?
It wasn't.
Y'all see me?
It only because you and your spouse or you and your significant other don't want to do it.
Mm-mm.
Something happens.
And Lord, don't get no kids. Jesus.
Kids are amazing.
Yeah, they
are.
are.
The Lord give you kids, it's a blessing. But know that your life will change. Your life will
in many
change.
ways for the better, but you will be beholden to those little people.
Yes.
So let's say, okay, babe, we're gonna work on our relationship. We're gonna do a date night every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we got our person. We're gonna talk to them. We're gonna set up these nights.
Mm-hmm.
We set up the nights, but then something comes up. That person can't watch the kids. Date night gets canceled. The next time we go, oh, the restaurant's crowded, or Marion's going crazy again, COVID's going crazy. Now we can't go again.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you know what? We hadn't done our date night this month yet. We missed it.
Whenever it can happen, it can
Yeah,
happen.
whenever. And now the next thing you look around, it's August,
Yeah.
and we hadn't been on a date night yet.
Yeah.
So now
We're talking from experience.
this is experience. This is facts.
Experience.
So again, financially, health-wise, relationship-wise, what about spiritually?
That can happen very easily.
I'm on a
Especially when they closed all the churches.
yeah.
And you couldn't go into a church. Everybody wanted to watch church.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I would get comfortable eating my breakfast or my cereal, watching church on TV. But now that I think about it, it's almost like it's church, but it's church.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, we hadn't to sanctify that space.
Yeah.
Right.
But go ahead, what you was about to say.
So now, you know what? I'm going to do better this year. I'm going to read the Bible for 20 minutes every day.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You better ask the Holy Spirit for help on that.
I'm going to do it every day at lunchtime.
Ask the Holy Spirit for help on that.
And you sitting at your desk for lunch. You got your little salad because you're trying to be healthy. You brought your lunch, trying to save your money.
Mm-hmm.
You eating healthy, trying to get your health thing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to read my Bible for 20 minutes during lunch. Here comes the boss. First of the year project. We got an emergency meeting because of what's going on. Oh, we got this going on. Oh, we got that going on. And a week goes by, you hadn't read. You try to pick it up the next Monday, but you don't know where to read. So now you got to go look for a reading plan. You pick up your phone to look up a reading plan. An hour later, you still on TikTok.
Yeah.
Y'all ever notice that?
Yeah.
Okay. But now you see where I'm going with this. Your intentions were perfect. You set this New Year's resolution. But again, extenuating external circumstances bombard that intention. The negative self-talk set in. You give up on it.
Thing you always say with the devil's in the details or something.
The devil
like
is
that?
in the details. The devil's in it. And when we set New Year's resolutions, we set out the list of behaviors we want to carry out, but we don't put in contingency plans for the details that will make that possible. We don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then we ended up with the negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Why have we said all of this? Mm-hmm. In order to not put ourselves in the New Year's resolution trap, we're not going to do New Year's resolutions anymore. Mm-hmm. We're not going to say New Year, New Me, because we want to bring some of the good stuff with us. We don't want to erase every good thing. We want to reflect and bring that good stuff and set a target.
Yes.
Then we don't want to just set goals on a list of what we should be doing.
Okay.
We want to set goals based on what we should be.
Okay.
Not on what I should do, on who I should be.
All right, Mr. Preacher.
Now, how should we do that?
I'm about to say, break it down, Mr. Preacher.
One way that is very popular now and has shown, again, with all the neuropsychologists and all the behavioral scientists, has shown a lot more adherence or, what's the word I'm looking for? Compliance, that you stick with it, you're consistent, is instead of choosing a New Year's resolution,
that means a sentence,
a goal, okay, and this list of behaviors to follow, you choose a word for the year that will characterize what you will be in every phase of your life.
Okay.
So one word. Now you can go online. They have one word 365. They have all these tools to help you answer questions and select your word for the year. Okay. So if you go online and say one word for the year, type that into a search box, all these tools will come up. Okay. But if you choose that one word, and I'll let y'all in on something. My one word for this year was better. Very simple, just better. So if I want to be financially better, even if I didn't save the $500, but even if I didn't save the $2,000, I saved $500, which is better than last year.
Where's this $2,000 mark coming from?
It's a nice even number.
Okay, 500 is even.
No,
$10
500 is not. 5 is not an even number. Yep. See.
Okay, I sidetracked back to.
She's trying to think I'm sending subliminal message like I want to go buy something for $2,000.
I'm just saying.
See, she don't know me like that.
Oh, I know you very well.
But it's a nice even number. It's a nice 2,000 is a nice even number.
Okay.
That's why I keep saying
it's robust.
Yeah, it is. But now, rather than being defeated because I didn't save the target, I am encouraged because I'm in my finances. I did $500 better.
Good. That is really good.
I only went to the gym 5 times. Mm-hmm. I didn't go my 15, but it's 5 times better than I was last year.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't read my Bible 20 minutes every day. I read it 5 minutes, 6 days. That's better than I was. So now I have positive self-talk. I have I'm using who I am, or I'm being something rather than doing something. And when something becomes a part of your being, whatever the behavior is automatic.
Yes.
It becomes, even if it's not as full or as effectual as it needs to be. Even if you don't get the giant results, I get those incremental changes that continue to make me better. What's your one word for the year?
Greater.
Why greater?
Because Pastor D said it.
Pastor D said it. Okay. So, but how does that greater apply to you?
Well, the greater applies to me because I always say when I post videos and just talk to myself, I say better version of myself, better version of myself. Mm-hmm. So that's already a part of my psyche. Mm-hmm. So greater is taking it a step further for me. So the better version of myself today is I was able to get all the dishes cleaned and get dinner done by 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. But a greater version of myself is having a plan for 2 or 3 days of dinner. Okay. And by the time the week comes, I have meal prep. See, we started meal prep for that week. To me, that's a greater.
So it's not just a better you, it's a more impactful you.
Yes.
So that greater is a greater impact based on who you are.
Yes.
But you see how that one word applies to everything you are. It applies to your entire being, and it's not just a list of prescribed behaviors. So therefore, you're more immune to those external circumstances tearing up your success.
It keeps you excited.
It keeps you excited. Yeah. And look, chatter, I'm going to take a side step here. Chatter in your head is normal. You know how people always say, if you talk to yourself, you're crazy? No. If you don't talk to yourself, you're crazy. Everybody talks to themselves. Okay? But it's what we do with that talk that matters. When you get into that negative self-chatter loop, where everything is, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing well enough, I missed my mark, I should have done this, I should have done that. Now you're getting into self-blame, which creates self-doubt, which lowers self-worth, which lowers self-esteem, and now you're cycling and spiraling down this funnel of not achieving what you want to be. Yeah. Because you took behaviors to mean what your being was. But when you start... So you prescribe it to who you are. Exactly. Wow. So now that failed behavior becomes a failed person. Wow. But if you're using these one word... Wow, that'll preach. That'll preach? Yeah. That'll write it down so I can put it in a sermon somewhere. If y'all hear me preach that, y'all know where it came from. That'll preach. That will, though. Because in the spiritual world, a lot of times, we look at a list of behaviors and not being in a relationship with Christ. And sometimes if we just focus on our behaviors and not what we are with Christ, what our being is with Christ, we get the value system backwards. Yes. And you end up working your tail off with all these behaviors and feeling empty and defeated and not whole. Yeah. And you're like, God, what's wrong? He's like, because you're trying to be something. You're trying to be something by doing something. Yeah. I don't need you to do, I need you to be. And what I need you to be is close to me. Ooh. See, I wasn't supposed to be preaching. I'm sorry. Ooh. Write that down. Ooh. Y'all got to come back for that one. Go ahead now. Okay. See, now you got me all sidetracked. But what I was saying is, when you use the one word neuroscience. It just gets me excited when you start preaching. Stop. Y'all get her, please. Put in the comments, Shawnee, please stop and let him talk.
I can't help it. I'm that hype girl.
She is my hype girl. She's my cheerleader.
I'm hype.
She's my cheerleader.
If you know me and you're in my corner, I'm your hype man too.
This is true.
Go ahead.
We big up everybody.
Yes, we do.
We big up everybody.
Yes, we do.
But what you want to do is use the one word. Try to be something in every phase of your life. That way, when every behavior doesn't line up with your goal, it doesn't defeat you.
Yeah.
Now, again, you can know what those behaviors need to be. But if you get 3 out of the 6 behaviors, you're still better off.
Yes.
You're still, like some people may say stronger. They may be anchor. Pastor Todd at Transformation Church, every year for the last 3 years, this year he reveals the word next week for this year. But he's done, the first year was stronger. Last year was anchor. And this year he hadn't revealed it yet. So if you know that, it gives you a center to work from in every phase of your life.
Focus would be a good one too.
Focus would be a good one. So you want to make sure, get away from New Year's resolutions, which is a goal with a list of prescribed behaviors, because that is not immune to external circumstances. And when the external circumstances get in the way of your behaviors, it starts that negative self-talk loop that leads you to abandon your goal and then impacts your overall sense of well-being. You want to not do that.
Remember that quote I was just talking to you about earlier? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah. That is so. And why? What are we comparing ourselves to? If it's the gym, if it's health,
somebody we're seeing.
We see somebody who is
or something.
Yeah, we see an image on Facebook. We see that person in the gym that I want to be like them. But then when your behaviors are impacted because that person, they work 2 hours a day as a freelance writer and don't have any kids, and they can work out for 6 hours, where you have an 8-hour job and 2 kids and a spouse. Now you're comparing what you see and it steals your joy because the circumstances are different. So that's true. Very true. Now, and I want to share a quote from Socrates when it comes to what you need to be rather than subscribing to a list of what I need to do.
Behaviors, yes.
When you settle on what you need to be, it makes you more content with you. Okay? Because I can control that. I can control what I set my mind to do. I can control what I set my affections on. I can control how I view where I am today versus where I was.
You just bring the Bible into everything.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Socrates said, contentment is natural wealth, but luxury is our artificial poverty.
Ain't that the truth?
Some people, they have the big giant bank account. It's artificial. Inside they're poor. It's artificial poverty. But if I'm content to save my little $50 a month, that's better than I did last month.
And maybe to you it's little, but to somebody else it's great.
So I can be content.
Yeah.
And now that contentment breeds more joy. It breeds more peace. I can be better in my relationships. I can be better in my spiritual life. I can be healthier because that contentment lowers my stress level, which makes everything in my body work better. Be content. But somebody, that may be your one word, contentment. That may be your one word, content, right? Don't compare, be content.
Yes.
So choose your one word. Whatever New Year's resolutions you got, go back and say, okay, what one word would encapsulate all of this and allow me to move forward toward these goals? And then instead of trying to do all of those things, try to be what that one word is.
Okay. Be that one word for you.
For you.
We have to make sure we disclose that. Be that one word for you.
Now,
that's it.
Steps to succeed.
Yes.
The one thing I want to talk about is focus. In order to succeed, you have to have the ability to keep your one word in focus.
You're going to tell me about...
You know I'm going.
This is going to be real good, you guys.
Get your notebooks out. Get your notebooks out.
This is going to be very good.
So if my word for the year is better, I have to be able to, in any facet of my life, professional, spiritual, family, relational, professional, community-based, in every facet, I have to be on the watch. I have to be alert and focused for how can I be better in this setting, in this facet. But you say, how do I focus in a world like today?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you. First, let's talk about what focus or attention is. You have to pay attention. Attention, a lot of us think just attention is just staring paying attention like this. No, our brain is a lot more complex than that.
Because you'll see yourself start gazing off.
Yeah. And then you start wondering, why can't I pay attention? And now the negative self-talk starts, right? So how do you pay attention? What is attention? What is focus? Focus comes in 3 distinct parts. Our brain has 3 mechanisms that help us focus. I heard a professor from the University of Miami. Hold on, let me get her name. I want to make sure I give her just due. Give me just a second here. Talk among yourselves.
Focus.
Yep.
So that means
this is a commercial break.
Well, thank you to our sponsors for having us here. And our sponsors are 265, the Reaching Church, where Pastor Wyatt and Sister Paulette Wyatt are the First Lady and Pastor there. We're so thankful that you guys allowed us to have this show on your platform. Now we're back to our regular scheduled show.
That wasn't even scripted. You did great.
Thank you.
You did awesome. All right. So Dr. Amishi Jha, J-H-A, Dr. Amishi Jha is a neuroscience and professor of biology at the University of Miami. She wrote a book that is called Peak Mind, P-E-A-K Mind, where she described attention and focus. She described it this way, and based on functional scans of the brain when somebody's paying attention, there are 3 separate systems. All right, so follow along. The first one is the focus and attention center. That's like a flashlight. Now, if you ever held a flashlight, whatever you point the flashlight on, that one object is illuminated. And as you move toward the edge of that light, everything else gets blurry or dark. That's your focus. That's what most of us think of as focus. I'm paying attention to this one thing. Okay? That's one job.
Let's say for the young people, when you take a picture, and you're taking a picture of the food, and the outside surroundings is blurry. That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Very good. Very good. When you're at your restaurant, you want to share on Instagram or TikTok, Snapchat, what your food looks like. That's great. All right? But that's just one part. So now you've got the flashlight. But then outside of the flashlight, you have a second system that is called your alerting system. That's like a floodlight. That's a big, giant light. It illuminates everything in your surroundings. Now, you may be paying attention to just that plate of food. But if you're in the restaurant, you can hear other people talking. You know what the temperature feels like. You see the waiter walking past. You hear the dishes clanking on things. You hear people giving their order. That's in your alerting light. That's that. But you're not paying attention to that alerting light.
Right.
You're paying attention to your plate of food. So your flashlight is on your plate. Your alerting system is everything in the restaurant. But how do you choose what you pay attention to in the alert zone? That's your executive function.
Okay.
That is what's pointing both of those lights, and basically it's what's choosing to point your flashlight within the alert zone. So you have the flashlight, which is what your singular focus, the alert, which is your environment that you're observing or that you're existing in, and then the executive function that chooses what you pay attention to. Okay? So those are the 3 parts of focus. If I'm in a community setting and I need to be better in that setting, then I know everything in my alerting zone is part of the community setting. But then I know, okay, my focus now is how do I be better in this setting? So my executive function begins to look around for, okay, what can I do different from prior experiences to make me better? That's why focus is so important. In my finances, I know I'm spending money every day, but my flashlight, my executive function is saying, what area of my finances do I need to focus on to be better than I was yesterday? My health, my spiritual walk. I have my alert zone. I have my church family. I have my list of activities, but my focus my executive function has to figure out which part of this setting I need to focus on to be better today.
For everyone, it's different.
For everybody, it's different, and every day it'll be different. So one day you may be in church and notice, you know what? I may need to volunteer to be on the usher board because it gives me a chance to interact more because I don't interact enough. Your focus is on that. The next day, it may be, I need to really pay attention to the words of these worship songs because I don't appreciate them enough. So it could be different, but if your focus on being better is active within your executive function, you will find ways to be better or stronger or greater, whatever your one word is. But here's the thing. in the world we live in, it's very hard to pay attention.
Everything is fighting for your attention.
And you know what? Everybody says, oh, our attention spans have gotten so short. Do you know people like Dr. Jha have done studies, and our attention span has not changed significantly since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, when there was no TV and all that stuff. Our attention span hadn't really changed. It's just we notice it. And way back when, even some of the ancient philosophers in Rome talked about kids not paying attention because they had other things to do. So our attention hasn't changed. It's just that we notice it more because these things are now so bombarding us, and they're so close to us all the time.
Yes.
So how do we strengthen our ability to focus?
That's what I was about to ask, because I can easily be distracted.
Yeah. Is it brain games? No. Is it crossword puzzles? No. You know what it is? It's mindfulness meditation.
I need help on that.
Mindfulness meditation. Now, when I say mindfulness meditation, that's very specific. I'm not talking about transcendental meditation. That's kind of Eastern mysticism. I'm not talking about this spiritual Christian meditation where you're really focusing on God. I'm not really talking about that either. Mindfulness meditation is basically you meditating on what is going on with you at the present moment. It's an internal meditation. And the reason it works and shows so many clinical advantages when it comes to focus is because as you sit and try to, mindful meditation will tell you to sit quietly, feel the floor under your feet, feel the tension in your muscles.
That's what the kids used to do.
Yeah. Sure. Feel the breath going into your nostrils and out of your lungs, because it's drawing your attention in on yourself. But here's what's going to happen. As you sit through that meditative exercise, your focus is going to wander.
Yes.
The people who focus the best, their mind wanders 50% of the time. So it is going to happen. The thing is, mindfulness meditation teaches you not to negative self-talk and say, oh, here I go again. I can't even focus on my own self. It teaches you that when you notice your attention drifting, bring it back. So it's just like exercising a physical muscle. Because when your flashlight starts to drift, the issue is not that the flashlight drifts, it's that we don't practice bringing it back enough. So if I can focus for 5 minutes and my flashlight drifts, bring it back for another 5. And it drifts, but the problem is when I get to that 5 minutes and I drift and I never bring it back, or I'm struggling to bring it back. So I start saying, man, I can't focus. I don't feel like I can't get my work done because I can't focus. You're adding more distraction.
Agitation to yourself.
So practice. You can find these things on YouTube, anything. Just type in mindfulness meditation. A very popular one is called doing a body scan, where it teaches you to pay attention to sensations in different parts of your body. Do those sorts of things, and it really strengthens your ability to manage your focus, because when you manage your focus, you can focus on your one word for the year, and then you are more effective at being what you're trying to become. So I know that was a lot. But you want to be able to focus on your word.
Hopefully you got your notes.
Get your notes down.
So we could do a recap of what we talked about.
Right.
So no more New Year's resolution.
No, let's
if we can do away with that, do away with it. It's going to be a better you
in 2022.
In 2022, even if it's 23, 24, 25.
Just better.
Just a better you in whatever aspect in life that you're in. And try not to compare yourself to someone else, because their circumstances may be a lot easier than what you're experiencing.
Exactly.
It may take you an hour to get to the gym, and they just need to walk 5 minutes.
Yeah, they live upstairs.
Yeah.
Over the gym and can just take the elevator down.
And then we talked about steps to succeed. You talked about being mindfulness meditation. We talked about limiting negative self-talk.
Yes.
Because that continues to take you down this funnel.
Right.
Where who knows where that funnel takes you.
You end up defeated and you give up.
You have to check yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes. And reflect on what you did good or what helped you grow the prior year, prior month, prior week, and take that into the next day, the following day, and build and grow on that.
Build and grow. And focus on what you're trying to be rather than a list of behaviors to do.
Yes.
Okay? That's it. And if you do that, you will, even when you get to next year, December 30th, when you get there and you look back, you may not have that $50,000 bank account you wanted, but you will be better off and more financially savvy than you were when you started. So therefore, you know what? I am better off. I am better at my finances. I am stronger at managing this. I am, healthier than I was. I am more spiritually in tune with God. So now you get the law of compounding returns. You put a little bit of money in the bank with compounding interest, and all of a sudden it keeps growing. So now you're emboldened to try more. You're emboldened to invest more in yourself, and that kind of self-talk is actually helps you grow exponentially. So
last thing I forgot to mention, make sure you jot it down somewhere.
Yes.
You have your journal, your tablet, your phone, wherever you jot it down and try to jot it down in the same place, which is something I'm working on myself.
Not 16 different notebooks.
Try to jot it down in the same place. So when you go back, you can see, okay, last week I did this. And this week I did this. Wow, I've done so much better.
I've done better.
So you're also giving yourself, you're being your own cheerleader.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. The last thing I'm going to say is celebrate every victory.
Yeah.
Every victory. Every step forward is just that. It is a step forward. Don't say it wasn't a big enough step. If you took your lunch one more time today than you did last week, that's a win.
That's a win, yes.
Because you know how much lunch costs these days?
Yes.
You go to McDonald's, you spend $10, $12 on one meal.
When it used to be $3 or $4.
Yeah. So now, if I did that, I just saved $10.
Yes.
So, celebrate, and I save myself calories.
Yeah, and that $10 that you save can go into that saving pot.
Right.
That you wanted to build up on.
So now I'm saving more. I'm healthier. I feel better. But see, celebrate every victory and get people around you that will celebrate with you.
I was just about to say that. Because if you have people that are doubters, that are negative.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Sometimes
it's hard to get rid of those people. But what you can do is limit the access they have to you.
Boundaries.
That's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show. Oh my goodness. Jesus.
Yes.
Just because you know people don't mean they get access to every part of you.
Amen.
That's another show, and some people ain't gonna like that. But if I'm trying to be better and all you can talk about is worse, then we got an issue.
Yeah. And sometimes you want to try to bring other people with you, but sometimes be careful because they can bring you down with them. You know what?
I heard Shannon Sharp on First Take. That's my boy. Club Shay Shay. Shay Shay said, you got to be careful who you put in your ship, because some people will sink your ship just because they can't be the captain. I said, that's deep, Shay Shay.
Yes, that is.
That's boundaries. Get around, celebrate every victory, get around people who will celebrate with you and who you can celebrate them, and then put boundaries for those people that are trying to drag you back.
When you said that, that brought me to Priscilla Shire's father. He has a short video he put out on going into the year of 2022. And he talked about Jesus and the disciples in the boat. And he said, well, Jesus said, we're going to get in the boat and we're going to go to the other side. And the people were, the storms were raging, and the people were like, so you're just going to sleep while we're about to drown? And then he was like, ye of little faith. And he made this powerful distinction when he said, Jesus said, peace be still. Have you ever thought about it as peace was moving? Because you didn't appreciate what you had.
True.
And I was like, okay.
I see where you're going.
Okay.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah. So I was just, well, that's another thing. Sorry. Go ahead.
So, to recap, a better you in 2022. Reflect. Don't be new. Don't be brand new. Reflect on last year. What could I build on? What was good that I can take and be better in 2022? Now, what one word could replace or help me achieve my goals that can serve in replacement for all of this list of what I need to do? Rather than just a list of things to do, I can have a centered purpose on what I need to be. Which, again, then as I start to focus on those things. I use all of my executive decisions in my learning circles and pointing my flashlight to be better or to be focused on my one word. Now I celebrate every single victory and have people that cheer me on. And at the end of the year, if you do these things more often than not, by the time you get to the end of the year, you will be happy with your outcomes because you will have grown, you will have gotten stronger, you will have been, whatever your word is, you will have achieved being better at that word in your life. That's how we get better and a better you
in 2022.
In 2022. That's it.
Yeah.
Let's go get it, people.
Let's go get it.
Hey, and if when you're watching this, if you've already got your word, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Just put it down there.
Because someone may be looking for a word, and your word might be a word that they can share.
And share your word. Yeah. If you got a bunch of people, then y'all make a group. Y'all support each other in being just that. Share your words. Okay?
So better you in 2022. Thank you to everyone, all the viewers that's been with us since last year. I hope you've seen the growth in us. It's because of you guys.
Yes, it is.
And we're so grateful, and we're thankful to all of the sponsors that's allowed us to be ourselves.
We got to get some commercials.
That's allowed us to be ourselves and to be able to give you whatever the Lord gave us, because all of us are going through things, and we can empower other people to be better and greater than who they are currently.
And to wrap it all up and put a bow on it, trust God with your growth.
Yes.
Because nobody tends the garden better than he does.
Amen.
Trust God with your growth, and I promise you, you'll see all of these things that we're trying to be can be found in him, and he will empower us, encourage us, and take us to where we need to be. I'm excited for this year. I've already seen better in me. Y'all, think about this. Listen. I'm telling you a secret. My lunch for this week is already packed. Ooh, I'm better this year. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I'm better. Because I used to be just in Walmart just spending money for no reason. That's a hush. But I'm better this year. I'm better.
Yeah.
I'm better. I'm doing better. I'm trying to be healthier. I'm trying to save money. I'm being better.
And let's close out by, if you don't know Christ as your personal Savior, any time is the right time. And that's it.
That's it. Hey, thank you for joining us for the first show of 2022. My name is Dr. Leo.
And I'm Shawnee Presley.
And this is Healthy and Whole.
Mind, Body, and Soul.
We see you next month. Y'all be good, be safe, be blessed, and be back next month.
Yes.